Hi, this is Ali Arango of ArangoDigitalProduction.com, and today I want to show you how to make a simple base human female model. So let's get started. Alright, if this is your first time in Blender, if you're new to Blender, the first thing I would recommend you do is go to File, User Preferences, Input, and then select with left click. Blender's default select with is right click, and if you're coming from an Adobe program or other 3D programs, this might confuse you. The other thing I want to tell you for this tutorial that's very useful, well, actually, I guess you'll need it, is you can select go to add-ons, and then what you're going to do is go down in add-ons and look for loop cut tools. All right, to see this loop cut tools, all you would do is just make sure this is clicked, and then you can come out of here. Now we can get started. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do is hit number 1 on your number keypad to go in the front view. You're then going to hit number 5 on that same number keypad that's normally all the way to the right. This will put you in orthographic mode. You'll know you're in orthographic mode because you'll see a thing right here that says front ortho. You can also see these squares here. In Blender, pretty much when you work with objects in Blender, you're going to be dealing with two modes, which is object mode, which allows you to move a cube upward, downward, or all around as a whole object, and then you can select edit mode, which is the main mode where you actually move vertices, edges, and faces, and you would select your vertices, your edges, and your faces right here. So right now what you want to be is in front view, in orthographic mode, and once you're in there, you want to make sure you have vertices selected. All right, you're now going to hit W on your keyboard. You're then going to select Subdivide Smooth. Once this pops up over in your tool menu, if this isn't up, hit the T key and it'll pop up. You'll see a thing that says number of cuts. You're going to click this up to 3. All right, once that's clicked up to 3, and if you are in orthographic mode, when you see this this cube that's subdivided, you'll see 1, 2, 3 vertices right here. You want to select the third vertice up. Once that's selected, you're going to hit number 3 on your keypad to turn to the side. You're then going to hit the O key. And what this O key is going to do, it's actually going to activate right here. This is a proportional editing tool. So you can either hit O to activate it, or you can actually click on here and activate it. All right, we still have that vertice selected. Now what you're going to do is hit G, which is the grab tool in Blender. When you hit G, you see that circle that popped up? That circle will allow you to control your area of influence. You want to take your area of influence up to about like this, and just pull down, and we're forming the basic chin right here. Okay, now what you're going to do is take your middle mouse button, hold it in, and this will allow you to turn your screen. And you just want to sit there and get so you can see the kind of the back of the head. As we go through this model, generally we're going to be selecting either 4 faces, which these are right here, or 8 faces. So right here we're going to be selecting 8 faces. So what you're going to want to do here is you're going to hit your C key, which gives you a paint select. Once that pops up, you're just going to select these 4 faces here. You'll then hit 3 on your number keypad, and to zoom out, I'm just rolling my mouse wheel. Now I'm going to hit G to grab, and then Y on the Y axis. And see how that green line popped out? That shows us which axis we're pulling in. So you just want to pull straight back just a little bit. Now I'm holding my middle mouse button, turning again. And again, remember I just told you we're going to select either 4 or 8 faces. So we're going to select these faces right here. So we're going to hit C. If you to select everything in Blender, you hit A. If you hit A again, it'll deselect. So if I hit A now, it selects everything. If I hit A again, it deselects. So a lot of times, when you're going to something new, you want to be deselected, and to be absolutely sure that you're deselected, just hit A and you'll be fine. So anyway, hit C to activate the paint select, and you're just going to grab these vertices right here. Hit O to turn off this proportional edit tool. Now hit 3 to turn your head to the side again. Now you're going to hit E to extrude, one of the most useful, important tools in Blender, to about here. Now turning with my middle mouse button, just holding in and turning. Now what I'm going to do is hit S to scale on the X axis, just a little bit. Hold my middle mouse button, turn to the side. S to scale with the Y axis. Now I'm turning with my middle mouse button again, and now I'm going to hit Control R, which is a very useful tool and something you will use a lot in Blender, particularly with the way I tend to model things. Okay, once you hit that Control R, you see this purple line pop up. When you roll your mouse wheel, you'll get multiple purple lines. You're going to roll it one time, and you'll see there's two purple lines that popped up. You're going to left click to lock in. You're then going to hit S to scale on the X axis and just pull in a little bit. Then left to lock in, left click to lock in. Holding middle mouse button again now. I'm going to hit S to scale on the Y axis, and I'm just pulling in again, and then left click to lock in again. And now what you're going to do is take your middle mouse button, and this is where that loop cut thing, that loop cut add-on that I showed you in the beginning comes in. What you're going to do here is you're going to make sure you're deselected from everything else. Again, if you're concerned about it, you can just hit A and then A again to deselect. Okay, now what you're going to do is grab your faces right here, and you're going to paint select with the C key. So select all these, and this is very cool, and I love this in Blender. You're going to hit W to bring up your specials menu. Then you see that loop cut tools. Now again, the reason why you can see this is if you followed me in the beginning where you went to File, User Preferences, Add-ons, Loop Tools, that you should have this selection here. So what you're going to do is go here to Loop Tools, and then you're going to go to Circle. Very useful. And you can see what it did was it turned the squarish bottom of the neck just totally into a circle. Also, another thing you can do is you see it's not. I'll hit number 1 on my number keypad, and see how that has this curve here. We actually want to flatten this out. And this thing I'm going to tell you here is useful for this model, and it's also used for a lot of other things. If you need to flatten something out up or down, if you hit S to scale on the Z axis and then 0, you see what happened there? It automatically flattened that. So now you're going to hit left click to lock it in. I'm just going to push down a little bit to make sure these vertices aren't in that part of the neck there. Okay, and this next part as we continue on, one of the things you can do to make it a little bit easier for yourself as we model this simple female model is see this triangle right here. You're just going to go right here, left click, and drag to the side. And what we're going to do here is actually you can get rid of this menu right here by hitting the T key. What we're going to do here is you're going to hit 3 on your number pad, and this is just going to keep this at a side view. And I'm pulling and grabbing this window by holding my middle mouse button and also shift and just clicking and dragging. And this will just allow. Typically, whenever you're modeling, you typically will in 3D you'll go from front to back, front to side, front to side, front to side. What this does is this just allows us to have a constant view of the side. Now, even though I have this here, I'll probably still go front to side here, but it helps to keep everything in view and know what's going on by having this front and side view sometimes. Anyway, this basic the upper body, it's basically going to be 4 sections. So basically what's going on now, you're going to hit E to extrude on the Z axis. And see if it's kind of like this, if you want to lock it into Z, just hit Z again, and now you can only go up and down. It's cool because see that blue line that's up and down there? Blender's actually showing you, okay, you select lock on the Z axis, so you can only move up and down. That's what we want for right here. So what you do, this is actually going to be above the chest area for the female. So you're going to click there. You're going to hit E to extrude on the Z axis again. You can see that blue popped up again to lock it in. This is going to be the actual chest area right here. Then you're going to hit E to extrude again on the Z axis again, and this is going to come down to about waist level here. And then you're going to hit E to extrude on the Z axis one more time to about here. Okay, my basic goal in this tutorial is I want to show you just a simple, fairly quick way to make a fairly low, easily animated female model in Blender. I mean, obviously there's many different ways of doing things. This is my particular way. Okay, let's go on. Okay, so you have your basic segments, 1, 2, 3, 4. What you're going to do now is we're actually going to take this segment right. Let's start off right here. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to hit Z. All right, the reason why I hit Z right here is when I hit Z, it allows me to have this model be transparent. And the reason why it's important that it's transparent is if I hit Z and I select right here this face, and with it being non-transparent, with it being solid, I only grab this face right here. All right, so if I spin the model, you can see I'm just grabbing the front instead of the back. Where there's instances where you want to select the front and the back. All right, so the easiest way, or my particular way I like doing it, is hitting Z. So in other words, let me hit Z and make it solid. If I wanted to grab these vertices right here, so I'll select vertices and I'll select C. You see how I grab these front ones right here, right? Suppose I wanted to grab all the way through. When I turn to the back, you can see these back vertices aren't selected. So basically, let me hit A to deselect. When I hit Z, I'm going to hit B to box select. Now I'm going to grab these, and you can see from the front to the back, all of those vertices are selected. So let me hit 1 to go back to front view. And with all the vertices selected, we're just going to hit S to scale on the X-axis. Take this out just a little bit. Okay, now this is going to be I'm going to hit A to deselect. I'm going to hit B to box select, which lets me select just like if I was in Windows selecting, a bunch of objects. I'm on vertices select, so I'm selecting here, so I'm going to hit S to scale on the X-axis again. And again, this is going to be the chest area, so we're pretty much just matching this up right here. This right here is going to be the waist area. I like when I'm modeling females that have fairly small waist. So we're going to hit S to scale on the X-axis, pull this in just a little bit. For this, we're going to hit A to deselect. Now we're going to hit B to box select. All right. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to hit X. Sorry. I'm going to hit S to scale on the X-axis for here. And this is actually going to be the waist area. So this model is going to have fairly wide hips. So now what I'm going to do, and when I was doing my male models, I had learned how to do the male model before the female model. I struggled with the hip structure. And basically one of the differences, like I have another tutorial up about the male model, doing a simple base male model. With this, the main thing you're going to do is you're going to hit R to rotate on the X-axis. And you can see in this panel right here, about like that. You can see what you're going to do. And it looks kind of weird right here because it's just transparent. But if you see when I go to solid, you can see, you just tilted basically the hips down like that. All right. So hit A to deselect that. You're going to come over to the side menu, hit Z to make this transparent. And another very useful select option in Blender is you actually hold Control on your keyboard, and then while holding Control on your keyboard, you right click on your mouse. This will give you a lasso select. So what I'm doing is just selecting this head and neck area right here. And I'm just going to use this manipulator right here to pull this head back a little bit, just like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is hit A to deselect. And when I said that Control and right click, it's actually to get the lasso select. It's Control and then hold right click and then drag. All right, what we're going to want to do now is we're going to just box select this right here. So we're going to hit B to get the box select, and we're just going to make sure you're on vertices select, which is right there. We're just going to drag and grab these vertices right here. We're going to hit S to scale on the Y-axis like that. Bring it about like that. Push it forward so it's about straight with that here. A to deselect. We'll hit B to box select again. Grab these bottom vertices right here. We're going to hit S to scale on the Y-axis. Trying to straighten this up right here. Just pull this back like that. Now what we're going to do is hit A to deselect. I'm holding middle mouse button so I can look and see the bottom of here. Grab the face select, and I'm just holding Shift and selecting these faces right here. I'm going to hit 1 on the number keypad, and I'm going to hit E to extrude on the Z-axis. Hit Z again to lock in to make sure you're just going up and down. And then you're going to left click to lock in, hit S to scale on the X-axis, and then push in about like that. And now what you're going to do is hit S to scale on the Y-axis, like this. You can see how it's turning like that, which I don't particularly want. So we're going to hit R to rotate while still selected on them. Then we'll hit S to scale on the Y-axis again. That's good. And as we go through it, making this model, just the way that my basic, theory for making models, I'm just going to pull this back a little bit more, is I pretty much think of everything like a sketch. I'm looking at this almost like sketching in 3D. So basically, I try to get the basic form down, and then once I have the basic form, I'll play with that form to get it to where I want. Also, I tend to do things fairly low poly because most of the time I'm animating I'm modeling to animate something. So anyway, let's go on. So now what you're going to do is you're going to hit with A to deselect. Now we're going to hit was that thin enough? I want this a little teeny bit thinner. You can actually, you don't always have to make something thinner by hitting S to scale and then X axis. Now I'm just selecting these vertices. See how this manipulator is in the way here? If you hit Control Space, you'll get it out of the way. I'm just going to select, hold Shift. I'm on the edge select. I'm going to select right here. Hit Control Space to bring back my manipulator, and then oh wow, I didn't mirror the whole time. Let's do this. I thought I had mirrored already. What we're going to do now is hit Control Z. Make sure that didn't affect anything. What you're going to do is hit 1. And this is very important. You want to make sure that your model is directly in the center part for this next part that we're about to do. We're going to add a mirror modifier to it. Very useful, very important, and especially when you're dealing with a humanoid model. So what we're going to do here is actually hit Shift C. Now when you hit Shift C, you see this cursor right here. If I click out here with right click, I want basically whenever you make new things or you mirror, a lot of things are going to tend to be based on this 3D manipulator. So what I'm going to do is hit Shift C, puts it directly in the center, and then now with it directly in the center, you're going to hit Z to go transparent, B for box select. You're going to click and sorry people, make sure you're on faces, select B to box select, and you're going to grab right to the exact center, and you can see it's right to the center there. You're then going to hit X to delete, and you're going to go select faces. All right, so it should be perfectly deleted right on the center. Now what you're going to do is go over to your modifiers panel, which is this little wrench. Click the little wrench, add modifier, and then you're going to go to mirror, and you can see it's perfectly mirrored. And now to get it off of this gray right here, what you're going to do is, you're going to select clip, and that will just keep our model together as we move it. It'll make sure it doesn't split right down the middle. You're then going to select this apply modifier during editing, and it'll make it look like it's actually a full piece of the model. Okay, and with that done, now what we're going to do is continue on. So you're going to hit Z to make your model solid again. You're going to roll your middle mouse button. You're going to look towards the bottom part of here. You're now going to hit Control R. You'll have this loop cut pop up, kind of like before. You can see the purple there. You just need one loop cut. You're going to left click to lock it in right there. And with this, what we're going to do is, I'll zoom in so you can see a little bit better. You're on edge select right here, and that probably popped up just because we went right to loop cut. You're going to grab these edges right here, just push out just very slightly right there, forward. It's almost like we're making like a trapezoid shape. Push out like there, like that, right there, just a little teeny bit. And what we're going to do now is you're going to go to your face select. You're going to grab all these faces here. So I'm just holding Shift and selecting these different faces. And then I'm going to hit X to delete and select faces to delete the faces. Now with that, what we're going to do is go to our vertex select right here. Grab these 3 vertices here. And as far as modeling females, this is in my way. Not modeling females, the manipulator's in my way. So I'm going to hit Control Space just so I can grab this other vertex. I'm going to hold Shift. So I have all these 3 vertices. But as far as modeling females, it's very important how the hips look as far as I'm concerned. So with those 3 vertices selected, you're going to hit E. And this is very important because it's going to help define the hips. Just pull out just a little small piece just like that, right? Now what you're going to do is you're going to select this vertex here, hold Shift. Whoops. See that? I misgrabbed right here. So hit A to deselect, and if you're not sure, you can hit A to make sure the whole thing will glow. Hit A again to deselect. You're going to select this vertex, hold shift, this vertex, and this vertex, and now you're going to hit F to fill that space in right there. Okay, now we're pretty much going to do the same thing to the back. So I'm holding my middle mouse button and turning to the back. Again, make sure your vertex select. I'm going to select this vertex. I'm now holding shift. Shift allows me to just select multiple vertices. So I have 4. Remember in the beginning I talked about 4 and 8 faces. Now you're going to hit F to fill. And one of the things I can tell you is when I first was modeling, I remember first starting off with the cube and the male and all that, I learned how to do the male body, and I was like, oh, the female body is probably exactly the same. Obviously not exactly the same. Very similar is what I mean. And long story short, this hip thing is one of the main differences. So, having that loop cut select and the circle tends to help a lot when forming females. And again, there's multiple different ways of doing this. I mean, this is just a fairly quick way, and my way of doing it. So anyway, you're going to select your edges here. Let me start over. Your brain, when you're doing these tutorials, will start going faster. Your hands are going faster than your brain. But anyway, you're going to select these edges right here. Select the edge select right here. So I'm going to select these edges. I'm holding shift. Daggone it. See that? I missed it. That happens when I hit A to deselect. Sometimes you can, light it up and then take it off to make sure you're right. Again, anyway, let's do this again. I'm going to select here, 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 here. I did it again. Sorry. A to deselect. Let's try Alt select. I'm gonna basically right here. I have the edge here. I'm holding the Alt key and I'm selecting there, and there you go. One click, it grabbed all of the edges, and that's probably the best way to do it. So anyway, what we're gonna do now is you're gonna hit E to extrude, just a little bit right here, and you're just extruding the legs there. Let me turn this solid so it's easier for you to see over there. Now what we're going to do is hit W to bring up our specials menu, and we're going to hit smooth. All right, now you can see how that it's getting very flat. I'm going to hit S to scale on the Y axis. Just bring that out just a little bit more. I'm just holding my middle mouse button to turn. Like I said, this is my particular way of doing a female body. There's lots of different ways to do it. I tend to think, if you're starting off, you can get it, basic, fairly low poly female. You can, go up in detail from there. So hopefully this will give you a good starting point. But let's go on. You're going to hit E to extrude again. Generally, these thighs, we're going to basically want 4 sections coming out. So this will be number 2. We'll actually push this forward a little bit over here. And actually what we're going to do with this thigh section right here is we're going to flatten this out. And we're going to hit S to scale on the Z axis and then 0. And it just makes it flat. All right. And then now you see how we have that right there. What we're going to do now is we're going to hit W to bring up our specials menu. Back to the loop cut. And we're going to hit circle, just to make it a little bit more circular. We're now going to hit E to scale on the Z axis. Bring it down. I want this a little bit longer, so we're actually going to go back up to this. We have edge select on, so we're going to hold Alt. And when I hit Alt and pressed on these edges, now I'm going to hit Control Space to bring back my manipulator. I'm just going to pull down just a little bit. Anyway, I'm going to hit Alt to select on this edge again, and it's when I hit Alt to select, that's why it's selecting the whole edge right there. I'm going to pull this down a little bit more. You got to make sure you watch here in this other view too as you're doing these legs, or it'll get out of control real quick. I'm going to hit S to scale on the X axis to bring it in just a little bit. E to scale on the Z axis, bring it down some more. On the side view, I'm going to hit S to scale on the Y axis to bring this in. Let me pull up a little bit here, and then S to scale on the X axis a little bit here. Then one more time, I'm going to hit E to scale on the Z axis right here. Did I say E to scale? It's E to extrude. I'm sorry, people. I hope I'm not confused. E to extrude. Whenever I'm coming down, you hear me say E, it's extrude. All right. Now I'm scaling. So it's S to scale on the X axis like that. And then over here, S to scale on the Y-axis like this. And then we're about to form the knee. So what you want to do is pull back just a little bit like that. And again, we're doing kind of like a sketch. Well, we can change this as long as we have our sections and all. Like we have the 4 segments here. We can go into scope mode. We can come back and reform this. We're basically trying to get the general shape right now. Okay, so we're gonna hit E to extrude, not scale. Z-axis, bring this knee straight down. And when you bring this around the knee area, basically what you're doing, you want to pull this back. This bottom line right here, pull it back some, just like that. What will help you out. So we're gonna hit E to extrude on the Z-axis again, and if we come out the legs being too long again, we'll just change the size of them later on. So we're gonna hit S to scale on the X-axis, and we're going towards the calves. We're gonna go this up, and then see how right here, like right there from the front, it's like, oh look, it's wide. Right here, you want to make sure you hit S to scale on the Y-axis, and that's where this view is useful. So see how we have it right there. Now obviously the calf doesn't run past the knee, so you're going to grab this manipulator and pull straight back like that. Okay, and now what you're going to do is hit E to extrude on the Z-axis, down like this. Left click to lock in, S to scale on the X-axis like this. Go to your side view, S to scale on the Y-axis like that. And I tend to design things without a reference, which basically again I come from a drawing background, so I'm hitting S to scale on the X-axis. I tend to on a blank piece of paper I want to be able to just draw without having to pull up a picture. And kind of the same thing here. I mean, one of the nice things about making these tutorials, as far as myself, I hope that this helps people out there, but I'm looking forward to coming back and saying, oh my gosh, I made the female, that's how you made it like that. Oh my gosh, that was crap back then. But anyway, I tend to think of it, this like a sketch and like a blank piece of paper, and I just want to be able to, okay, here, pretty much from my mind, I can make a female. So that's kind of a thought behind. Oops, what did I just do? Right in my mouth. I'm gonna hit Control Z, whatever I did. I'm over here. All I want to do is hit S to scale, and then on the Y-axis, pull that in so we can continue downward. E to extrude, I just hit over here on the Z-axis. Let's zoom it back so we can see. Okay, and I'm just going to hit S to scale on the X-axis just a little bit more. Back over here, S to scale on the Y-axis over here. And now for this next part, what we're going to do is that we're going to form a foot almost like there's a boot. And I'll use it just like that, just because when you're trying to do a tutorial and trying to make it relatively fast, it's easier to form the foot like that. So it's not the best foot or boot or whatever, but here we go. We're going to hit E to extrude on the Z-axis, right? We're going to basically go for 4 segments here. So we're doing, there's 1, E to extrude, Z-axis, here's 2, E to extrude, Z-axis, here's 3, and then E to extrude on the Z-axis, here is 4. You want this about half as long as the other ones. So you're going to left click, hit F to fill in this bottom right here. That's what F did right there. Okay, now what you're going to do is zoom in so you can get a good view. And what we're actually going to do is grab these faces right here, just these 3 right here. Take your face select, hold shift, grab these 3 faces, and now you're going to hit S to scale on the Y-axis and then 0 on your regular keyboard. I guess the number keyboard might work also. And now I have this side view here, but you're just gonna you can look from here. I'm just force a habit, how I usually do it. Hit 3. So I'm gonna hit E to E to extrude on the Y-axis. I'm gonna bring it out like this. E to extrude on the Y-axis, bring it out like that. E to extrude on the Y. Oops, sorry, double clicked it. E to extrude on the Y-axis like that. All right. Now what I'm going to do is steal from the side, hit 3 if you come out of there like I did, 3 on your your side, keyboard, number keypad all the way to the right of your keyboard normally, 3 there. Now what I'm going to do is let me hit A to deselect because I saw it's selected right there in the front. I'm going to hit Z for transparency, B for box select, and you're going to grab these 4 or these 6 all these faces right here, basically. So all right there, right? Again, my face select is on. Now I'm going to turn just so I can look. I'm going to hit Z to come in back in the solid mode. Now what I'm going to do is hit S to scale on the X-axis, like that. Bring it out a little bit. Now I'm going to select my edges right here. Hold Shift to select both those edges there, and I'm just going to push this forward a little bit right there. What I'm now going to do is, and this whole time pretty much since around the neck we've had this proportional edit off, I'm going to select my face, two faces right here. I'm just holding Shift to select them. Now I'm going to turn this on. You can do this with O, or you can turn on right here. Just clicking here so you can see this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just maneuvering with the middle mouse button just to get a good view of this. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to hit G. Now remember, G allows us to see this. And I'm rolling my mouse wheel to get that proportional edit. So we want it like that. Now I'm going to hit Z to lock on the Z axis, and I'm pulling down, and I just want to get a little like a boot. It's a fairly basic thing right here, but you're just pushing it down to get a slight bend just like that. You're now going to turn, look at the bottom, and go to your vertices, select, hit A to deselect that. You're just going to grab these faces right here. We still have a proportional edit on. You're going to hit G and X, and you're just pulling out. Roll your mouse wheel, accordingly. We'll grab these three vertices right here. Hit G, X to move on the X-axis. We'll grab these three, and you can play around right here a little bit. I'm going to hit G on the X-axis to bring this in. And then I'm just going to go to this other side right here. And again, people, it's kind of like a sketch is how I kind of think of it. I can see my calf moving up there a little bit. So you have a general shape, and again, you get the general shape. You can come back and play with it later. Okay, so we have that part right there. Now what we're going to do is go up to this arm part. And as far as when I was talking about the general sketch theory, I would recommend you to actually model like that yourself also, just because if you're trying to do everything perfect, a lot of times it'll make you, get crazy with stuff. So what you're going to do here is you're just going to, I have face select. I'm grabbing these two faces here. I'm hitting S to scale on the, turn off this proportional edit. So if you right click in Blender, if you're selecting, you'll automatically kind of deselect. I'm going to hit O, hit O to turn that off. You can see it's off when it's fully gray. Then I'm going to hit S to scale on the X-axis, and then I'm hitting 0 at the top of my keyboard to make this flat like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control R. I'm going to put a loop cut right in the center of here. And you can see there's my loop cut. I just need one. I'm going to left click to lock it in. Okay, now what I'm going to do is select my face select again. Select these four vertices. Just holding Shift to select all of them. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just hitting 1 to go back in the front view. I'm hitting E to extrude on the X-axis. I'm going to bring it out just like that. I'm going to hit S to scale on the Z-axis just to bring it a little bit like that. And now I'm going to use that beautiful loop tool shortcut again. So I'm going to hit W to bring up my special menu. Let's go to loop tools up here. I'm going to click circle. All right. So now what I do is hit E to extrude on the X-axis right there. Get the basic shoulders. Hit S to scale on the Z-axis, and you always got to check that side view right there. Okay, I'm going to hit S to scale on the Y-axis to make that come in a little bit now. And again, we're basic shape here. We can always come back and modify as long as we have our cuts and stuff in the basic places they need to be. So we're going to hit E to extrude on the X-axis. Come out. This is going to be like center of the bicep area. I'm actually going to hit S to scale on the oops, didn't hit it. Did I deselect it? I did. We hit A to select everything. A to deselect. That was just a little mess up. All right, so make sure you're still in your faces. Holding Shift to select this arm again. Now I'm going to hit E to extrude on the X-axis again. This is kind of like going towards basically the elbow. And I'm going to hit S to scale on no axis just to bring it in just a little bit. Now I'm going to hit E to extrude on the x-axis again. It's coming into like the forearm area. I'm going to hit S to scale on the z-axis to bring it up a little bit. And you can see right here, it's kind of getting kind of narrow. So I'm going to hit S to scale on the y-axis to widen it out a little bit. All right, I'm going to hit E to extrude. If I'm hitting E to scale, it's E to extrude, people. I'm sorry. E to extrude, bring it out a little bit more. Left click to lock in, S to scale on the z-axis. And you can see it's wide again. S to scale on the y-axis to bring it in. E to extrude on the x-axis again. If the arms are too long, which they look like they're really getting out there, we'll just shorten them up. And see, even right here, what I can do is with all those selected, I can actually just push this back a little bit. I'm going to hit S to scale to bring this in a little bit. Now what we're going to do is hit E to extrude on the x-axis. We're going into like the wrist area. And then what we're going to do here is hit S to scale on the z-axis like that. This, we're actually going to want this to be fairly wide. So we're going to hit S to scale on the y-axis to bring it out like that. All right. And just to make sure it's absolutely straight, let me hit 1 on my number keypad and then S to scale on the x-axis and then 0 just to make sure it's totally flat. Looks like it was. So now what we're going to do is we're going to form, this is basically going to be forming the hand here. And I thought I had my, let me turn this on. You guys out. Okay, so basically we're forming a hand basically here. So we're going to hit E to extrude on the x-axis right there. I'm going to bring that about like that. E to extrude on the x-axis again like that. And then we're going to hit E to extrude on the x-axis about halfway like that. And again, we're getting a basic shape here. Yeah, that's my recommendation. Get your basic shape. Let your brain not like freak out trying to be totally perfect, because you can come back and adjust as long as you have your basic loop cuts and things in the right, around the right area. So this, we're going to extrude the thumb. We're going to E to extrude, little piece right there. For joint, hit S to scale. E to extrude, about like that. We're going to hit S to scale on the Z-axis to thin it up. E to extrude to make a little joint. Left click to lock it in. E to extrude again. And then we're going to hit S to scale on the Z-axis for basic thumb. Now we're going to turn to the hand. We're going to make sure you're still in your face select. You're going to select. I'm holding Shift to select these. I'm going to hit X to bring up my delete menu. I'm going to delete these faces here. And now what I want to do is make like a U cut right here. So I'm going to select my vertices. I'm going to hit K to cut. You can see where it's about to cut. It's lining up. I'm going to left click to cut. Bring up to here, left click, and then enter. All right. Now I'm going to go to the bottom part and do pretty much the same thing. That's still selected. I'm going to hit A to deselect there. I'm then going to hit K to bring up my knife tool. I'm going to left click, and this time I'm going to bring it over, past the other panel, all the way up to here. Left click, and then back to here. Left click, and then enter to lock that in. And pretty much, just like before, we're usually forming things in 4 and 8 phases as we move along, and as we have been. If any of you guys are out there watching me do this and you're like, oh man, he could do this, he could do that, send me a comment and let me know. I'm still learning myself. I tell you, it's funny. I went to design school, costs. Yeah, I still got my student loans to pay back, but I tell you what, I learned as far as 3D goes, I learned far more online about 3D than I did in school. I'm very thankful to my teachers who taught me, who started me off, but YouTube, I tell you what a valuable resource. But anyway, I'm sorry. Make sure you're on your vertice select. Let me do it again since I didn't explain it. You're going to grab this vertice here, hold Shift, this vertice, this vertice, this vertice. So see this right here? You're actually dodging this part right here. You're dodging that part because, see, if we formed it right here and we filled it, it would have, 3 faces, which I generally don't want. Basically it's 4 and 8. So what we're going to do is hit F to form this face right here. and then grab right over. And basically what this is going to be, this is actually going to end up being where the fingers come out. So I'll grab this vertex right here, hold shift, this vertex, this vertex, this vertex, hit F again to fill. Same thing again. This vertex, this vertex, this vertex, this vertex, hit F to fill. Same thing again. Holding shift, selecting all these vertices, hit F to fill. And now that we have these four things we're going to form the fingers, now we're going to do is hit Control R for a loop cut. And now that we have that loop cut, you left click to lock it in. I'm going to drag down after the first left click here. And now I've got the four faces I want. So now I'm going to finally grab this edge right here and hit F to lock this in. Or F to fill a form a face anyway. I'm selecting these four vertices here. See, I grabbed the wrong vertex there. So I'm going to hit A to deselect. Select there, left. There we go. Now I'm going to hit F right here. But yeah, as you guys watch this, if you can see any ways I can improve, let me know. I would like to hear. I learned a lot of this stuff from David Ward and Blender Cookie tutorials, but I kind of came up with my own way. But a lot of it's based off a lot of their stuff. But yeah, I would love to learn different or quicker, more efficient ways. So if you can comes to mind, let me know. Anyway, what you're going to do here is you're going to select this face right here. And what I did now was I just hit E to extrude. So I'm going to extrude this part out. Hit S to scale down just a little bit. You're going to hit E to extrude. All right, about like that length. You're going to hit E to extrude again. Left click to lock it in. I'm going to hit E to extrude again. I'm going to hit S to scale a little bit on the Z axis. Pushed it in so it's not too long. E to extrude again. Left click. E to extrude again. I'm basically making about 3 joints for the finger. Then I'm going to hit S. Oops, crap. Control Z. I'm going to hit S to scale on the Z axis. Now I'm going to go for this next finger. It's kind of interesting. So I'm going to hit E to extrude. I'm going to hit S to scale. And now with this one, what I want to do is I don't want this finger running into that other finger. So actually what I'm going to do is hit R to rotate on the Z axis. And whenever I see it as an axis thing, you see how it shows you, like when I hit that, when I select the axis, Blender will actually put that line up. Like if I hit R to rotate and then Z, it tells me, okay, you're twisting on this axis. But with this, don't make it too extreme and don't make it, you just want to get some space for the next finger. So we're going to hit E to extrude. We'll bring it a little bit past that joint to the middle finger. And this is very long, we'll hit S to scale on the Z axis to bring that in some. E to extrude. Left click to lock it in. E to extrude, left click to lock in. Let's see how long that sucker is. Long. S to scale on the Z axis. E to extrude. And then we'll do E to extrude again, make it a little teeny bit longer than the other finger. Fingers are rough. Again, you can come back and play with this later on. I know it's long, but again, my basic philosophy is get the general, I'm hitting E to extrude, get the general, shape in there, and then, you can play with a little bit later. S to scale, no axis right here. I'm going to hit R to rotate on the Z axis. Turn just slightly so this finger doesn't run into the next finger. E to extrude, very long, so we're going to hit S to scale on the Z axis. E to extrude for the joint. Left click to lock in. E to extrude again for the joint. Left click to lock in. S to scale on the Z axis. A lot of stuff, Some of the, when you're doing these tutorials, you're like, man, it's so repetitive. So much repetition as you're saying stuff. I guess that's good because hopefully it'll lock it in for you. And I hope that this can be a help to you. This tutorial, like some of the tutorials I've seen, have helped me in the past. So I just extrude it again and then S to scale on Z axis. Then here's the last little pinky finger. E to extrude. That joint, we're going to S to scale. Bring it down. R to rotate on the Z axis. Not too much. Just trying to get an angle away from the other fingers. Then just like the other fingers, E to extrude, Z-axis, and in 3D you're typically going to be moving your view to look. You know, I came from a drawing background. Before I would just try to do everything on one angle, then change it. It really doesn't work. You kind of have to, like, just Blender, you just hold the middle mouse button, you can look around. So I'm going to hit S to extrude on these, not S, I'm sorry, extrude, S to scale on the Z-axis. All right, so now I'm going to hit E to extrude, little joint right there, E to extrude again. Pulling the manipulators to make it longer. E to extrude again, left click to lock in, and then E to extrude again for this third joint of the pinker finger. See, it's kind of running, it's almost running in. I kind of didn't turn it enough, but it still should be, it's good. We can actually change it later on, so that's good for now. You know, and again, the size of the hand, all that. Actually, let me see if I show you now. Typically, when I make my hands are a little bit too long. See how long the arms are right there, right? Remember I told you, I said about making it, you know, you get the basic thing, you can change it later on. Watch this. The arms are kind of long there, right? So what we'll do is just hit Z to deselect, make sure A. You can see nothing selected there. You can even hit A twice just to make sure. Now what I'm going to do is hit B to box select, right? Grab the arm up to here, and I'm just going to hit S to scale on the x-axis, and you can see that right there. You see that? How we're able to just shorten up the, since we have the basic, you know, thing in the arms in, we can, you know, vice versa if you want to make them longer. So it's like once you have that basic shape in, you can come back and play a little bit, you know. When I draw, I tend to draw almost purposely messy at first, just so I can you know, get the basic idea and not go crazy about trying to make everything perfect. Anyway, what we're going to do now is we're going to actually put a loop cut right here. Zoom in so we can see it. So I'm going to hit Control R. Pull that loop cut in like that. Left click to lock in. Okay, so we're about to form a chest area, so be careful where you're at. You know, it's only a 3D chest, but you know, you could be somewhere weird, or, you know, I'm sitting there, my wife was watching me forming a female model, and I don't know, it seems kind of funny. You start forming the chest area, somebody's around, start looking at you funny. But anyway, what you're going to do now is you're going to hit Control R for another loop cut, move your mouse over. You see how when I move the mouse over, I didn't click anything, I hit loop cut, you know, there's the loop cut, and then I left click to lock in right there. What we're going to do here, now that loop cut is selected, you're going to grab your face select here. You're going to grab these 4 faces holding shift. And what you're going to do is that beautiful specials menu, hit W to bring it up. Loop tools, circle. All right. So now you have your circle right there. What you're going to do is just grab your manipulator, push out just a little bit, small, very small. You're now going to hit E to extrude, and when I hit E, see, I didn't click anything, I just hit E. When I hit that E, what I did was I just used it to create new geometry. So now I'm going to left click. Even though I hit E, basically what it did was it created new faces right here, even though you couldn't see it. So now when I hit S to scale, now you can see those faces. You know, so now that you have that right there, you're going to bring it in about like that. You're going to take your manipulator and just push out a little bit like that. You're now going to do the same thing again. You're going to hit E to extrude, not move anywhere, left click, right? Now you're going to hit scale down yet again, like this. And then you're just going to, you know, push this out like that. And again, we have the basic, you know, shape. So now you can, you know, sit there. You'll be able to, you know, play around with that later on. It's just getting the basic shape in there. All right. This is where somebody would be sitting there looking at you funny. What the heck is he doing? Anyway, now that we have all this, we have the basic shape. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hit A to select everything. Then this is a shortcut for the subdivision surface. So what this is going to do is make this model look fairly smooth. You're going to hold Control and hit 2. All right. What it did is it just smooth your model out. It added this modifier right here, which you can see with the little wrench, the modifier menu. I'm then just going to click here so you can see it a little bit better. And now what I'm going to do is hit W and hit, I'm going to hit W and hit shade smooth. Okay, now we're going to do, this hand looks a little bit weird, so we're going to do zoom into this hand. I'm going to hit A to deselect everything. What I'm actually going to do is, with this modifier, this smoothness is just a modifier. So actually what we're going to do is turn, I'm going to hit the I to go back without the modifier. The modifier is still there. When I click the I, you can see it's right there. The hand looks kind of funky. So what I'm going to do is hit Z to go into transparency. I'm going to hit B for box select. And I'm actually going to hit S to scale on the X-axis. Just to pull those fingers out a little bit. Turn the Z in. That looks a little bit better. Hand still, the hand can be formed. I mean, I don't want to get too crazy. You can get crazy with that. See this big, thick thing right here? What we're going to do is select these edges right here. I'm just holding shift. And we're actually going to hit circle. See that proportional edit popped up. We're going to hit G so we can see it and roll it in so you can control it. And then we're actually going to hit Z. And you can see there's my thing limited. So just push that in. That's how you get rid of that. And then we'll grab these faces right here. If this manipulator's in your way, control space, it'll take it away. I'm going to hit G on the Z axis. Push that up. I'll grab right here. These faces. I'm going to hit G on the Z axis and just push that up. So you could, come back, play with the hand. You can adjust it. The fingers are kind of thick, but I don't want to get crazy with this. You can, come back. I mean, it's I'm already starting to fall into the trap. And I'm actually hit G on the Y-axis to pull that in. And as you're pulling, when you're doing this, dealing with your proportional edit tool, you can roll that mouse wheel as you're doing something G on the Y-axis, pulling in, and then I'll just, roll my mouse wheel as I'm moving. And, the hand is sucking me in, man. I'm like, you can come. Anyway, you can see like how you have the basic shape. You can come in and keep, playing with that thing. But anyway, now we're going to start to shape this up a little bit. And basically what we're going to do is we are going to go into a sculpt mode. Before that, see how long the legs are? I'm going to tell you a general shape. So I'm going to hit A to deselect. I'm going to hit B for box select. And what I'm going to do here is just grab these legs. I'm going to hit S to scale on the Z axis. And it's pulling them out there. What I'm going to do is hit control space. And then I'll just pull the legs in like so. And to do the general shape, one of the awesome things about Blender is the sculpt mode is just lovely. So what we're going to do with this sculpt mode is you're going to go from edit mode. We've been in edit mode most of this time. We're going to go right in the sculpt mode. When you're in sculpt mode, the main thing you'll start off with a brush, regular brush here. The main thing we're going to use in here is the grab and the smooth. So you want to grab the grab, and what this does is, it works very similar to the other Blender mode. I'm rolling my mouse to zoom in and out, but if I hit F, I can make this brush. If I'm hitting F and I'm dragging, I just pushed F. I didn't hold it. I pushed F and I dragged. Now I have this tool, and if I hit F again and then push in, it lets me change the size of that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just grab and shape this female model mesh. And one of the things, and we're going back and forth between sculpt and edit. And one of the things that we're going to do to make it easier is we're actually going to click right here in the active data menu, and then we're going to go down and we're going to select wire. Now see how it's all crazy like that? You're going to go over to the wrench, select there, and then you're going to go to optimum display. And now basically this will let you know where you can pull and push. The sculpt mode in Blender is just fun, but as far as, especially for, female, trying to make her a little bit more curvy. Right here, we're just playing. I'm just dragging. I'm on the grab brush. I'm just dragging and pulling. And this window right here. I'm actually going to hit 3 to bring that back so we can see the side again. And we're just going to drag and pull in here to get the basic shape that we want. See, I made the legs too, maybe shrunk them. And when you come in here, you'll be able to to play like you want. For the one thing that the breasts, when you have the basic size of them or basic setup for them, is you can click inflate, deflate, and you can see here's deflate here. But it's selected on inflate. So if we go right here, you can just see, I'll zoom in. You can just click, and your strength for your brush is right here. You can also change your radius, like I did it by F, but your strength is right here. Strength should be fine for this. If you select here, you can see that basically what it's doing is it's actually giving the volume and doing the effect we're doing with a female a chest. Obviously, it's very useful for this. This is also good for muscles and other things. And you see how this is popping up here. What we'll do is we'll go to the smooth. Now with the smooth, I would recommend you turn the smooth down to about like 135, 140. It tends to be too strong as far as my opinion, but things like this. That's what I was saying, a basic shape. Once you're in here, now you can start to play. And one of the things we want to do is we want to give the typical line you see in the back and then the front. So what we'll do is we're going to go back in, we're going to select here, go back into edit mode. Now what we're going to do is hit A to deselect. All right, now we're going to hit, make sure you're on your edge select, grab right here, or position right here, hold Alt and select that loop. And what I did was I just selected a loop that went all the way up, all the way around. You can see it's here, it's on the front, all the way in the back. When you hold Alt and the edge select, it selects a full loop, right? So now that I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Z. All right, now I can see that loop cut. Now what I'm going to do here, and this is very cool, I think, of doing this, you're going to hit C for your C select. And with your C select, if you hold the middle mouse button, it lets you erase your selection. So what you want to do is hold this middle mouse button and erase off the head, the face there. All right. So about, whoops, crap. All right, Control Z. Oh, I can't hit Control Z. If you mess up like I did right there, just come out, right click to come out, and then go back, hit C again. And then you can go right back to holding your middle mouse button and getting rid of that. So I'm going to left click there. All right, so now what I'm going to do is hit Z. And with this, I'm going to hit S to scale. Make sure your proportional edit is off, actually. So I'm going to hit circle to get off of that. I'm going to hit S to scale on the Y axis. And basically what it's doing, hopefully you'll see this, is I'm going to hit tab to go into object mode. Let me turn this off just for a second so you can see. It's basically what it's doing is giving us this line right here. And also this line right here. So I'm going to go back in. I'm going to hit S to scale on the Y-axis a little teeny bit more. You don't want to do too much. You don't want to cut the person in half. And see how this is long and stretched out there? I can see there. Again, like I was telling you guys, is once you get the base, you want the basic shape. Like now we have, see that line right there? I love that. I learned that the other day, and it just puts that line right there. Yeah, it's an easy way of getting it. Let's go back into edit mode. Now see how long the body is right here? Since we have the basic shape of this female, what we can do is hit A to deselect, hit Z, and now what I'm going to do is just box select right here. Oops. A deselect. I'm going to grab vertices right here. Now I'm going to hit Control R. I'm actually going to loop select, which is holding Control R, and I'm going to grab all this right here. And then what I can do with that is just take my manipulator and I can just push this down. You see that? How it was like too long, and I can actually push even back slightly, like there. And I mean, we can just keep going there. Now this, a little bit too much there now, so we'll go back into scope mode. And this part, a lot of this part is just plain. To see how this is here, I can do two things here. I can take the grab tool and just go like that, or I could do the smooth tool also. And a lot of this, the rest of this is just playing, looking at your shape, looking at how long you want. See the knees are kind of low there, so you can go, back in edit mode, and you can just, I mean, you can play in Blender, particularly with the scope mode. Is just awesome. So what I'm actually gonna do here is me remember I'm doing a tutorial, so I don't go off on my own. My brain to start just telling me to fix things. Again, my main goal was to show you the basic, how to get your basic, basic female shape. See how the arm right here. See how you can't really see the division of the elbow. Since we have the basic shape, what we'll do here is in edit mode, we'll actually hit Z to go transparent, B for box select, and we'll actually grab right here, Z, and we'll just, I'm going to hit a S to scale in the Y axis and pull in a little bit there. I'll turn this way, hit S to scale in the Z axis. And it's like once you have the basic thing, I mean, you can keep playing. Again, once you have the basic shape, you guys are probably getting sick of me saying that now. One of the things is you want again, it's always kind of funny forming, dealing with a female. Funny in the sense that sometimes when I'm doing this, it always feels like somebody is watching me. Anyway, for this butt area, because you can see that's flat, what you want to do is you actually want to grab these vertices right here, grab these two vertices right here, and what you're going to do is hit G, not this, just, you're going to hit G and then Y, and you're just going to pull like that, just pull straight back like that, right? And then what you're going to do is actually just push in kind of like that. And now what you're going to do, just to get it a rounder shape, actually, you're going to hit Control R right here, and it'll let you round that up, and then you can basically pretty much go into scope mode and do a little bit more. So we'll go right in scope mode, and then you have that there. You can actually take the grab brush and kind of let me turn back on. You got to be careful you don't pull too much. Your vertices will try to push together, but I'm actually going to turn this wire back on so I can see. So you can just grab and kind of like pull this together more. That's interesting. And once you're in here, you can just pretty much play. And then you have, see how it's kind of like pointy there? I can just go to my smooth to remember, make sure the strength is turned down so you don't mess yourself up. And then just push like that. You can go back and forth in Blender very easily between the scoped and the edit mode. So I'm going to actually turn the proportional edit tool on. I could also hit O. Just pull in here. Let me increase my area. Oops. See that? If you do too much, it joins. Don't do that. Got to be careful. And the reason why it's trying to do that is because it's mirror mode is trying to do that. Yeah, not too much. Go back into scope mode. We can actually grab here, pull out a little bit. And, in scope mode, you can sit there, you can adjust the waist, whether you're going for cartoony. I tend to like more cartoony things, but you can you can come in here. Now that you have this basic shape, you can come in here. You can see this right here. My brain. Sometimes it's hard to do stuff and talk. You can actually flatten this out some. Again, I have smooth, just the strength turned down. But now that you have the basic shape, you can play with it and take it further than that. And these things right here. You can smooth out the legs. See how the calves are looking all crazy there. You would just take these and just grab and smooth them. And again, my thing is cartoony, whether you're going for cartoony or not. And my purposes of this was just to show you the basic the basic way to get a female, a basic female shape. The main very important is the hip area. Also, the line come down the front and the back. I mean, thank you guys for watching these tutorials. As always, I appreciate you guys' support of my channel. And if you like these videos and you want to see more, please subscribe, and thank you for viewing.